Picture a pirate gunner loading his cannon not with a regular cannonball, but with two iron spheres connected by a length of chain, knowing this specialized ammunition will tear through rigging like a scythe through wheat while leaving the precious cargo hold intact. So sit back, grab a cup of tea, and get ready to explore the ingenious pirate weapon that captured ships without sinking them. We'll discover how chain shot, two cannonballs linked by iron, revolutionized naval combat, examine the tactical genius of destroying sails and masts while preserving valuable cargo, and learn what pirate innovation, maritime warfare, and how outlaws developed techniques that changed naval battles forever, reveals about human ingenuity in the pursuit of profit over destruction. The scene is 1717, somewhere off the Carolina coast. A merchant vessel spots a pirate ship approaching and attempts to flee, counting on superior sailing skills and favorable winds. But the pirates have a secret weapon. Their gunners load their cannons with chain shot, two iron balls connected by a sturdy chain. When fired, these projectiles spin through the air like deadly bolas, their chains stretched taut by centrifugal force. The first broadside doesn't aim for the hull, but for the rigging. With a sound like giant scissors cutting canvas, the chain shot tears through sails, snaps lines, and splinters yards. Within minutes, the merchant ship is crippled, unable to maneuver, while her cargo remains safe below decks. To understand why chain shot became such a vital tool in the pirate arsenal, we must first grasp the fundamental economics of piracy. Pirates weren't in the business of destruction. They were in the business of theft. Sinking a ship meant losing its cargo to the ocean floor. Even heavily damaging a hull could ruin valuable goods, or make transfer difficult in rough seas. Pirates needed their victims floating and accessible, but unable to flee or effectively resist. This created a tactical problem that conventional solid shot couldn't solve efficiently. Regular cannonballs or round shot were designed for maximum destruction. They punched holes in hulls, shattered gun decks, and killed crew members through direct impact or flying splinters. But for pirates, this was often counterproductive. A ship taking on water needed immediate attention, complicating the process of transferring cargo. Dead crew members couldn't reveal where valuables were hidden or assist in moving heavy goods. Pirates needed a weapon that could disable without destroying, that could force surrender without sinking. Chain shot offered an elegant solution to this dilemma. The design was deceptively simple. Two iron balls, usually half the weight of a standard cannonball, connected by a length of chain. When fired from a cannon, the balls would separate, the chain between them stretching to its full length, typically 2 to 3 feet. The spinning projectile became a whirling blade of destruction, but one targeted at rigging rather than hull. The physics of chain shot were both its strength and limitation. The connected projectiles had less range than solid shot due to air resistance and the tumbling motion induced by the chain. Accuracy also suffered. The unpredictable flight path made precise targeting difficult beyond close range. But pirates rarely engaged in long-range artillery duels. They preferred to close quickly, and at distances of 100 yards or less, chain shot was devastatingly effective against rigging. Manufacturing chain shot required skilled blacksmiths, often working in less than ideal conditions aboard ship. The two hemispheres or balls needed to be carefully weighted to match each other, or the projectile would fly erratically. The chain links had to be strong enough to withstand the massive forces of firing, but not so heavy as to further reduce range. Pirates often captured chain shot from naval vessels, or had it made in friendly ports where skilled metalworkers could be found. Storage of chain shot presented unique challenges. The chain links could tangle with other shot, and the unusual shape made stacking difficult. Many pirate ships had special racks or lockers designed specifically for chain shot, keeping it separate from regular ammunition. The quartermaster or master gunner would carefully track these specialized projectiles, as they were harder to replace than standard cannonballs. Bar shot represented a variation on the chain shot theme. Instead of chain, an iron bar connected two balls or hemispheres. This created a more rigid projectile that flew somewhat more predictably, but had less reach when cutting through rigging. Some pirates preferred bar shot for its reliability, while others favored chain shot for its wider cutting swath. Many ships carried both types, selecting based on specific tactical situations. Expanding bar shot added another level of sophistication. These projectiles had a sliding bar that telescoped outward upon firing, extending the cutting edge while maintaining some of the flight stability of solid bar shot. The mechanical complexity made these more expensive and prone to failure, but when they worked, they combined the best features of both designs. The actual use of chain shot in battle required considerable skill and timing. Gunners had to account for the reduced range and altered ballistics compared to solid shot. They needed to judge the target's rigging layout and aim for critical points: the main mast stays, the shrouds supporting the masts, or the yards from which sails hung. A well-placed chain shot could bring down an entire mast or leave sails flapping uselessly in the wind. Pirate gun crews developed specialized techniques for chain shot deployment. They learned to fire on the uproll of their ship when their cannons naturally elevated, increasing the chance of hitting rigging rather than hull. They coordinated broadsides so multiple chain shots struck simultaneously, maximizing damage before the target could react. Some crews became so proficient that they could systematically dismantle a ship's entire sailing capability in minutes. The damage patterns created by chain shot were distinctive and terrifying. Unlike the clean hole of a cannonball, chain shot left ragged tears in sails, turning taut canvas into fluttering rags. When it struck rigging, the chain would wrap around lines before the momentum tore through them, creating a whipping effect that sent severed cables lashing across the deck. Wooden yards and masts struck by chain shot didn't just break, they splintered into deadly projectiles. The psychological impact of chain shot enhanced its tactical value. The distinctive whirring sound of chain shot in flight, audible even over the din of battle, struck fear into merchant crews. Seeing their ship's mobility destroyed while the hull remained intact made clear the pirates' intention: capture, not destruction. This often hastened surrender, as crews realized that resistance would only lead to eventual boarding with no hope of escape. Naval forces initially struggled to counter chain shot tactics. Traditional naval doctrine emphasized hull-to-hull combat, with ships of the line trading broadsides until one surrendered or sank. The pirate focus on rigging destruction required new defensive thinking. Some navies began reinforcing critical rigging components with chain or additional cables, though this added weight and complexity to sail handling. The cat-and-mouse game between pirates and their prey led to continuous innovation. Merchants began sailing in convoys with armed escorts, forcing pirates to deal with defenders who could shoot back effectively. Pirates responded by developing coordinated attack patterns, with some ships using chain shot to disable escorts, while others pursued the merchants. The tactical complexity of naval combat increased significantly due to chain shot's introduction. Famous pirate victories using chain shot entered maritime legend. Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, reportedly used chain shot to devastating effect in capturing the French slaver La Concorde, which he would rename Queen Anne's Revenge. The ability to take such a large, well-armed vessel relatively intact demonstrated chain shot's value in enabling pirates to punch above their weight class. Bartholomew Roberts, one of the most successful pirates of the Golden Age, was known for his crew's expertise with chain shot. His fleet could systematically disable entire merchant convoys, with different ships assigned to cripple specific targets. This coordination and specialization marked an evolution in pirate tactics, made possible by chain shot's unique capabilities. The economic impact of chain shot on piracy was profound. Ships taken intact were worth far more than damaged hulks. Cargo could be transferred quickly and efficiently when both vessels remained stable. Captured ships in good condition could be added to pirate fleets or sold to unscrupulous merchants. The increased profitability of piracy due to chain shot attracted more recruits and enabled longer, more ambitious voyages. Insurance rates for merchant voyages rose significantly as chain shot tactics became widespread. Underwriters in London and Amsterdam had to account for the increased likelihood of capture versus sinking. This economic pressure led to innovations in ship design and convoy tactics, as merchants sought ways to protect their investments from chain shot assault. The human cost of chain shot, while generally lower than conventional bombardment, could still be significant. Falling rigging and spars killed and maimed sailors caught on deck. The whipping action of severed cables could decapitate or dismember the unwary. Surgeons' accounts from the period describe horrific injuries from chain-shot debris, though these were generally fewer than from direct cannon hits. Pirates themselves faced risks when using chain shot. The unusual stresses placed on cannons by firing connected projectiles occasionally caused barrel failures. Loading chain shot incorrectly could result in the chain catching on the cannon's mouth, potentially causing catastrophic explosions. Gun crews needed extensive training to use chain shot safely and effectively. The spread of chain shot knowledge throughout the maritime world reflected the fluid nature of naval technology transfer. Pirates who had served in navies brought military techniques to their criminal careers. Captured naval gunners were often pressed into pirate service, bringing their expertise with them. Maritime communities from Madagascar to the Bahamas became centers for sharing tactical innovations. Naval adoption of chain shot for specific purposes validated pirate innovation. While navies primarily focused on destroying enemy warships, they recognized chain shot's value in certain situations. Pursuing, fleeing enemies, capturing prize vessels, or disabling specific threats all benefited from chain shot's unique capabilities. The weapon pirates had perfected for profit became part of legitimate naval arsenals. The technological arms race sparked by chain shot continued throughout the Age of Sail. Attempts to create even more effective rigging destruction weapons included expanding shot that spread into multiple projectiles, heated shot to set sails afire, and various explosive devices. None matched chain shot's combination of simplicity, reliability, and effectiveness, ensuring its continued use for decades. Archaeological evidence of chain shot provides physical proof of its widespread use. Maritime excavations regularly recover chain shot from both pirate and naval wrecks. The variety of designs found, different chain lengths, bull weights, and construction methods, testifies to continuous experimentation and refinement. Museums worldwide display these artifacts as evidence of naval innovation born from criminal enterprise. The manufacture of chain shot became a specialized trade in ports frequenting by pirates. Skilled smiths could command premium prices for well-made chain shot. The specifications varied by cannon size and pirate preference. Some crews favored heavier shot for maximum impact. Others preferred lighter projectiles for increased range. This customization reflected the professionalization of piracy during its golden age. Quality control in chain shot production was crucial. Poorly made chain links might break during firing, turning the weapon into ordinary round shot. Mismatched ball weights caused erratic flight patterns. Pirates developed testing procedures, firing new chains shot at practice targets to ensure reliability before trusting it in combat. This attention to detail separated successful pirates from those who relied on luck alone. The defensive innovations sparked by chain shot included new rigging designs and materials. Some merchants experimented with chain shrouds instead of rope, though the added weight and expense limited adoption. Others developed quick-release mechanisms for damaged rigging, allowing crews to cut away destroyed sails before they dragged down intact masts. These adaptations represented direct responses to the chain shot threat. Training gunners in chain shot use required significant investment of time and resources. Pirates often practiced on captured vessels scheduled for scuttling, perfecting their aim and timing. They learned to read wind conditions that affected chain shot's tumbling flight more than solid shot. Master gunners who could consistently disable ships with minimal ammunition wastage were highly valued crew members. The economic calculation of chain shot use extended beyond simple capture rates. Pirates had to balance ammunition expenditure against expected returns. Chain shot was harder to replace than regular cannonballs, making each shot a careful investment. Quartermasters tracked usage rates and capture success to optimize their chain shot deployment strategies. Weather conditions significantly affected chain shot effectiveness. High winds made the already erratic flight path even less predictable. Rolling seas complicated the precise timing needed for rigging hits. Pirates learned to adjust their tactics based on conditions, sometimes closing to point-blank range in rough weather to ensure hits despite the increased danger. The integration of chain shot into broader pirate tactics marked a sophistication in maritime criminal operations. Rather than relying on brute force or intimidation alone, pirates developed combined arms approaches. Fast sloops would use chain shot to cripple targets, which larger ships would then board. This specialization and coordination resembled military operations more than random criminal acts. Communication between pirate ships during chain shot attacks required predetermined signals. Flag systems, gun signals, and even musical instruments coordinated simultaneous attacks on different parts of a convoy. The complexity of these operations, centered around chain shot's capabilities, demonstrated pirate organizational abilities often underestimated by their contemporaries. The cultural impact of chain shot extended into maritime folklore and literature. Sailors' tales emphasized the distinctive sound and devastating effects of chain shot attacks. These stories, spreading through port taverns and maritime communities, enhanced chain shot's psychological impact. Merchant crews who had never faced chain shot still feared it, based on second-hand accounts. Naval tactical manuals began including sections on chain shot employment and defense. What had originated as a pirate innovation became part of formal military doctrine. Naval academies taught officer candidates about chain shot's capabilities and limitations. This institutional adoption represented the ultimate validation of pirate tactical innovation. The economics of chain shot recycling added another dimension to its use. Unlike solid shot embedded in hulls, chain shot often remained recoverable after battle. Pirates would collect spent chain shot from prize vessels, having smiths repair damaged links and reshape deformed balls. This recycling reduced replacement costs and ensured steady supplies of specialized ammunition. Regional variations in chain shot design reflected local manufacturing traditions and tactical preferences. Caribbean pirates often favored longer chains for maximum reach, while Mediterranean corsairs preferred shorter, heavier designs for close-quarters combat. These variations provide historians with clues about pirate operations and cultural exchange patterns. The decline of piracy's golden age didn't immediately end chain shot use. Privateers during various wars employed chain shot tactics learned from pirate predecessors. Naval forces continued using chain shot for specific missions well into the 19th century. The weapon outlived the criminal culture that had perfected it, testament to its fundamental utility. Modern naval historians study chain shot as an example of innovation, arising from specific operational needs. Pirates needed to capture rather than destroy, leading them to develop and perfect a weapon suited to that requirement. This case study in military innovation demonstrates how tactical necessities drive technological development, regardless of the innovator's legal status. Conservation challenges for recovered chain shot artifacts include preventing further corrosion of iron components while maintaining historical integrity. Museums must balance preservation needs with display requirements, as chain shot's unusual shape makes traditional mounting difficult. These practical considerations ensure that physical evidence of pirate innovation remains available for future study. The legacy of chain shot in modern naval warfare appears in weapons designed to disable rather than destroy. Modern naval forces use various systems to stop fleeing vessels or disable specific components without causing catastrophic damage. While technology has advanced far beyond iron balls and chains, the tactical concept pirates pioneered with chain shot continues influencing military thinking. Educational programs about maritime history increasingly include chain shot demonstrations to illustrate period naval combat. Replica weapons firing chain shot at mock rigging provide visceral understanding of the weapon's effectiveness. These demonstrations, popular at maritime museums and historical sites, help modern audiences appreciate the innovation and skill involved in age-of-sail combat. The romanticization of piracy often overlooks tactical innovations like chain shot in favor of more dramatic elements. Yet chain shot represents pirate pragmatism at its finest, a tool designed for profit, not glory. Understanding chain shot's role in pirate success provides a more accurate picture of how maritime criminals operated as rational economic actors rather than bloodthirsty adventurers. As we conclude our exploration of chain shot, it's worth reflecting on what this weapon reveals about innovation and adaptation. Pirates, operating outside legal constraints and driven by profit motives, developed and perfected a weapon that balanced destruction with preservation. Their innovation arose not from research laboratories or military academies, but from practical necessity and continuous experimentation. The story of chain shot demonstrates how marginalized groups often drive innovation through unconventional thinking. Pirates couldn't match naval firepower in conventional combat, so they developed asymmetric tactics centered on specialized weapons. Their success with chain shot forced legitimate military forces to adapt and eventually adopt pirate innovations. Modern maritime security forces study historical pirate tactics, including chain shot employment, to understand contemporary piracy. While weapons have changed, the fundamental challenge of stopping vessels without destroying them remains relevant. Coast guards and navies worldwide employ various non-lethal vessel-stopping technologies that conceptually descend from pirate chain shot. The preservation and study of chain shot artifacts continues revealing new information about pirate operations. Metallurgical analysis identifies production sources, while wear patterns indicate usage frequency. Each recovered piece of chain shot represents a tangible link to maritime history's most innovative outlaws. In the end, chain shot stands as a symbol of pirate ingenuity, a simple yet effective innovation that changed naval warfare. Born from criminal necessity, perfected through deadly experience, and eventually adopted by legitimate forces, chain shot demonstrates how innovation can arise from unexpected sources. The next time you see chain shot in a maritime museum, remember it represents more than just an obsolete weapon. It embodies the clever adaptation and practical problem-solving that enabled pirates to challenge the world's greatest naval powers with a length of chain and 2 iron balls.